Welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Chad Himes here with Bob Stewart over there. Bob, how you doing today?
Chad, I'm good. We got a fun guest here. He's got more Instagram followers than me. I know that much. Holy smokes, this guy.
Bob, this bottle of water I'm holding has more Instagram followers than you, I think.
That's fair.
Know, Bob, this whole episode, I'm just going to let the audience know I'm going to be way off kilter. Now I'm going to explain why, then we're going to get into it. We use video. We don't record it. We use it to see our guests so we can interact. And Bob, you're always late. So usually the guest is the first video I get to see, and then you're the other video, and you're on the wrong side of my screen. So I'm going to be totally confused all day today. Yet let's get to it, and let's bring our guest on the call today. I don't know how he's going to introduce himself, so I want him to take this and run with this because this guy's got a personality. Let's be really clear about that. Joe, welcome to the Win, Make, Give podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Love that. We don't do bios, so I'm turning it over to you. Who is Joe that everybody should know?
Joseph Shalaby. I'm the founder, CEO to start of eMortgage Capital. I'm also a top 10 podcaster, number one best-selling author, number one influencer on the planet in the mortgage industry. So number one mortgage influencer on social media. And eMortgage Capital is about 950 loan officers. We're the number one broker in the state of California. We got about we're the number one non-delegated mortgage banker in the nation. And just a little nugget, so the audience knows, we're in October right now. We are about to break a company record for volume this month. We're going to do about $625 million this month, which is a company record for us. So
wow. Amazing. We have a lot of avenues to go here. Do you mind if I just jump right in there? Because when we were talking before, you mentioned that a big part of your role there is recruiting, and you go out. What do you think is like? What's your underlying philosophy around recruiting, around attracting talent to your organization? Because you guys are clearly attracting a lot of talent over there.
It's all about providing value. So regardless of what industry you're in, you need to provide as much value. And what I took a deep look at about a year and a half ago was, we're a mega mortgage company, and there's only like 5 of us in the mortgage industry. And I had to just look at my competitors and see what value they're providing and what value we're providing, and how can I be different? Because as we all get bigger, the mega mortgage companies, we just have to stand out amongst my competitors. I just have to be the guy that's providing more value than my competitors. So, I'm always in the weeds figuring out what is it that I could do better than my competitors? What value can I bring to the table to help scale our model? And how can I help? This is really important. How can I help our originators, loan officers, realtors, branch managers, division managers, VPs grow their business? And that comes from a plethora of ways, from lead generation to data solutions to helping build out their tech stack to automating the outreach and solving for loan officers' negligence, because we all know that salespeople in general are pretty negligent when it comes to follow up.
And by the way,
and making sure that they're on top of their leads. So we're always wrapping our mind around that, and how can we solve for that?
Joe, I want to ask. Hang on, Bob. I got to get right to this, right? Joe, you mentioned number one influencer. I don't fill in blank world. Everybody wants to be able to say that. I'm the number one influencer in whatever it's going to be.
It's pretty easy in the mortgage industry because everyone's pretty lame in my business. It's not like that big of an accolade, right?
Take it as the accolade it is. Bob mentioned you got a lot of followers. How many followers do you have? How do you get followers? What do our audience need to hear just right off the bat to say, I don't need to be the number one influencer. Maybe I just want to be the number one influencer in my town in this industry or something. Help our audience be better at the social media disasters many of them are.
The biggest issue that I've found that anybody in any boring industry has is they go in, let's say I'm in insurance. I'll post
That's a boring one. Yep.
Yeah. And so is mortgage. Mortgage is super boring because nobody wants a mortgage. Everyone wants the house, but everyone talks about the Fed or talks about interest rate cuts or talks about whatever it is or talks about life insurance, whatever industry it is. And people swipe away. Nobody cares about that stuff. Everyone's on social media for what? For entertainment, to kind of escape. So then what happens? They get discouraged. They're like, I don't want to post anymore. I never see any business from it. It's very, it's very draining, and I have all this output and I see no results. The reality is that in order to grow on social media, you just have to entertain. You have to be something that you have to do stuff that people actually want to watch. So they don't want to watch, what Jerome Powell's doing with the Fed rate cut. That nobody really cares. They're not on social media for that. They'll go on Twitter or they'll go on Yahoo Finance or whatever. So if you look at my content, it's pretty much all entertainment, and I treat my Instagram channel or all my channels like TV channels. And then my stories are where I kind of post my Federal Reserve. I do a market update every day, and I know that it'll get 20,000 views. It's like a television impression, and across all platforms, and that's fine because then people know what I do. But I use the channel as a TV channel, and then the stories as my ads. My ads will be my marketing of mortgage content, which is extremely boring. Nobody wants to watch it, but if you're on a story, you have the option: watch the story or don't watch the story.
Because I think that, look, if you're like an Instagram user, you totally know what you're talking about. But if somebody's just checking you out, like I did, right? And I told you when we were waiting before, I'm like, oh, don't worry, take all your time you want. I'm watching your Instagram feed because it was entertaining. And so that, like, when I go to check you out, I'm like, oh, this guy's entertaining. I could follow him. And then you hit me with your business messaging, like on the daily, and that goes away, right? Those stories go away eventually. And so when I come
every day, but I post, it's every day. It's daily content. It's like the market moves daily.
Yeah.
So I update you daily.
But I love the impression you leave is of like this fun, entertaining guy. And then once I'm in your world, now you're like, okay, I'm going to hit you with what I know. But the impression left for all time, which is your actual feed or whatever, is very entertaining. It's not all your mortgage updates every day where I'm like, Jesus, all this guy does is talk about mortgage updates.
Yeah,
what?
And that's why people get discouraged, because they do that, and then they hate the outcome, and they're sad about the fact that they got no business from it. And that's the biggest thing. It's one, don't use your channel as a place to just blast people with mortgage content, because nobody cares and you're going to quit. And then two, you got to be consistent with your lifestyle and entertainment are what people want to see.
Okay.
Let's just assume, I'll assume for a minute your audience is like the mortgage guy that you'd love to come join your operation. So is the lifestyle you're presenting kind of,
I don't present this like exotic. I don't got like Lambos and Ferraris, and my lifestyle is like my kids. Okay. I don't post about girls I'm dating or whatever. Like none of that. It's just like kid content, jujitsu, basketball. Like
Bobby sounds like you.
Yeah, I mean, you mix
kids in basketball.
You mix in a fair amount of, like, I would call thought leadership. Like there's a lot of thought leadership threaded throughout here, at least at some cursory.
So I had my board I used to be really out there with my content. My board got on me. They're like, dude, you're a CEO of a financial institution. You cannot just go out there on the streets and feed people tarantulas. You cannot go up to young, beautiful women who are pretty much naked on the beach and ask them if they follow you. I was doing all types of stuff like that. And that was gaining me insane amounts of followers, but I just was not allowed to do it anymore.
Okay. I'm glad to know that if I meet you, you're not going to try to feed me a tarantula, at least if I'm in public and I see a camera somewhere nearby. I'm looking up your book right now, Rising from the Sand, An Immigrant's Path to Wealth and Influence. And if I just take those last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, path to wealth and influence, everybody wants to know what that path is. Tell us a little bit about the path, Joe.
Well, I mean, that path came with a lot of struggle. Obviously, I started my journey into entrepreneurship at a really, really young age, and it's just been, I've been a dreamer since I was very, very young. So, and that path started for me, that journey started in nightlife. Like I started producing parties at like 14 years old, and it taught me a lot about entrepreneurship. And from there I pivoted into the mortgage industry. And I had multiple failures, like over and over and over. And I go over it through my book. But that path basically is a lot of failure, a lot of rejection, and just continual determination, making, and dreaming, and never letting the naysayers just convince me otherwise. And I've had so many haters in my life, and continue to have just an insane amount of haters, that I'm able to just like tune them out, deflect, and stay on course, and continue to win, thrive, regardless of whatever circumstance I'm in.
Are you you said an immigrant's path. Are you a first generation immigrant?
Yeah, I was born in Egypt. I immigrated here directly. 5 years old.
When you came over? 5?
5, yeah.
Where do you think, like, where did the fact you're a dreamer come from? Because I think most of the people I personally know that have built really big lives, like, are dreamers. Most of them, by the way, like, they dream these things, but then they like put them on a whiteboard, or there's like,
I never got into the whole vision board and all that. Like, the vision board is like here in my head, right? I never wrote it down, and I even like writing goals down. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. My mom always told me since I was young, she's like, whatever you put in your mind, you just make it happen. And that's just, I put a goal in my mind, and I just stay the course. It's, the problem is it's extreme ADHD, right? I got like extreme ADHD. I hone in on something, and then I'm relentless when it comes to that. Same thing happened. Like, I went viral, got millions of followers in my 40s. People in their 40s are like, I hate social media. You don't go viral in your 40s. You go viral in your 20s, like,
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You mentioned something, and it doesn't sound like much, but you mentioned you have lots of haters out there, right? And we know we're using social media terms when it comes to that, folks.
I had haters. We had haters before social media. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but okay.
They just couldn't talk in your ear all night long if they wanted to.
Yeah. Now the haters on social media, they're a different word. What do they call them? They call them trolls.
Trolls?
Yeah, trolls. Yeah. All right. So I've heard people say, ignore those people completely. I've heard people say, let that be fuel to fuel you to prove them wrong.
And that's what it is. It's fuel. I love them. They're like mini blessings.
Talk a little bit more about that. How do you use that? I look at them like, because so many people want to just make everybody happy that when they have the haters, they just, I should shrink my life because they're haters and I don't want to be too big.
I live by this psalm, and King David said this. It's like, why have those who afflict me multiplied? Okay, as you rise in your success, like, those who afflict you will multiply, and it's like insane how many times, like, how exponential they grow. I'm gonna use 2 examples. One, the mortgage industry. Well, guess what? We get fined by regulators like millions of dollars because there's nobody else to fine. They got no money. You can't go to a small broker shop and fine them because they got no money. They'll just shut down, right? So, like, using them as an example, regulators they regulate the mega companies because they know that they got money to pay their bills. And they know they're going to find something, because when you're so big, you're going to find in some sort of, demerit, some sort of issue when you are dealing with billions of dollars in transactions and thousands of loan officers. Another great example who's been a role model and someone I've really admired since I was 14 years old, and I've read all his books, is our current president, Donald Trump. He's the most hated guy on the planet. And I always like correlate, like, how many lawsuits does Donald Trump have? And then I'm like, mine are nothing, like, I got a stack, this high, but compared to Donald Trump's lawsuits, like, I'm just like like a
Post-it
tiny
note.
fraction of what his lawsuits look like. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, the higher you rise, the bigger the target, right? Like
the
people,
bigger
whether
the
they be
target,
a
exactly.
regulator or yeah.
And I try to do everything right, man. I'm a servant of the Lord. I do God's work. I try to always serve. I try to always, I don't care about money. I don't care about like profit. It's always people first. Money follows success. Money follows servitude. And still, you still are hated on.
It's always going to happen.
Donald Trump lost value in his presidency. He went down $2 billion in his net worth since he became president. He doesn't.
And I'm sure someone's hearing you say this and are hating on the podcast right now.
Huh?
I said, I'm sure somebody's listening to this and hating on the podcast right now because you brought up that name. And when you bring up that name, it spurs that emotion that comes from it. So here at Win, Make, Give, our tagline is health, wealth, leadership, and legacy. And when I got stuff on you, when I was doing my research and connecting to bring you on, one of the things that you like to talk about is what high earners are getting wrong about leadership and legacy. Can you talk about what they're doing wrong in the world of leadership legacy?
So I live by this motto, like you do God's work and he always does your work. Leadership isn't about bossing people around. Leadership isn't about, being this guy that's so high on the totem pole that everyone aspires to be like. Leadership is getting on your knees and washing someone's feet. The greatest leader to ever walk this planet, who will always be the number one leader of this world currently, is Jesus Christ, who's my Lord and Savior, right? So he was the greatest servant to ever walk this planet. So one thing that I try to be is I'm the guy who's there just serving all our employees, serving those less fortunate, just always keeping a servant's mentality in everything that I do, saying hi to the janitor, wiping the table when I eat, after taking other people's trash when I see it. Like I just always have that servant mentality, and I'm, I come from a third world. I come from humble beginnings, and I keep a poverty-stricken mindset still to this very day. And I try to instill that in my children, and I try to always be a servant in everything that I do. In my position now as a CEO, in my content, in my church, in my fatherhood, right? So it's everything that I do is all around just doing God's work, being of service, getting on my knees, and helping anyone I possibly can. I don't care who it is.
Joe, can I just ask like a practical question about that? And let's put it in because I think we could go we could go to your church or we could go, but let's do it in at the mortgage company. What does that sound like? Like as you pass by the guy or gal in the hall, is it as simple as, hey, what can I do today to help you? Like, what is the monologue?
My
what is
mentor,
the dialogue?
I have a mentor who's insanely successful. He owns the Phoenix Suns. He's worth, I don't know, $50 billion. But
wait, are you talking about the guy with the baseball card collection? Is that the Phoenix Suns owner? He's got like the ridiculous baseball card collection. Anyway, sorry.
Does he?
Bob's spinning off.
Sorry. Diamondbacks. That's the Diamondbacks owner.
That's the Dallas Mavericks owner. He's the Shark Tank guy.
Yeah, well, he just bought the $13 million card, but the guy that owns the Diamondbacks has like all these insane. He's got like the Mickey Mantle PSA 10s. Anyway, sorry, side story.
The guy that owns really? I'm a baseball, basketball, football card collector.
And you and Bob definitely have a lot to talk about.
Our founder at Place is on a historic run of collecting cards. That's insane. We should connect offline about the cards.
Anyway, I mean, I don't have anything insane. I just do it with my kids, but it's slowly getting better. I'm still working. I'm 1 year away from getting a Jordan now, rookie.
Nice. That's so I collect PSA 1s, so I can't afford anything in a Jordan rookie that's not a PSA 1. So I got a whole bunch of old Wayne Gretzky and all the PSA 1s. But anyway, that's
why do you collect the PSA 1? That's the worst grading.
Because I can afford them though. Like I can't afford a Wayne Gretzky rookie and an 8. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing's $80,000. I mean, I can afford it. Maybe my wife would divorce me though. So I like the ones, man. They're like these old, Chad was throwing that Wayne Gretzky card against the wall back in 1980, as a kid in Toronto. And so I like the idea that somebody saved this thing that should have probably just gone in the garbage.
Yeah, but it's not going to have, you can't, it's not like a legacy piece.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's a legacy piece.
It's emotion. He's emotional.
It's the emotion around it. It's the
there's no value to it.
I don't care about the value.
I do it. My kids learn entrepreneurship through sports cards.
I love that.
So, if you look at the graphs, I don't know if you subscribe to any of the sports cards trading apps, but they're like, they look like a stock chart,
Yep.
And a kid at 9 or 10-year-old, my son's 10, he'll easily be able to interpret stock graphs or crypto graphs because he understands card graphs. Yeah.
100%.
The difference is the graph is analyzing, injuries and points and, other probabilities, but it's easy to fathom when you're a kid.
Here's the other thing I love about, so I take my boys to some of the local card shows or whatever, and they've gotten so much better in the last 2 years at talking to people.
It teaches them negotiation.
100%.
It teaches them entrepreneurship. We go to card shows. We set up tables. Cash is flying in and out of their hands. They're going to other booths. They're buying other product. They're flipping it, bringing it to our booth. So we try to go and set up booths. I love card shows. They're very expensive for me, though.
All right. So now we've had our commercial for Cardboard Wars podcast.
No, that's not a commercial. Gary V just said that any business that has some sort of collectible in their ecosystem is going to explode. So I don't care what business it is. If you could put a collectible somehow in your business framework, you will crush it. I still haven't figured it out for mortgage. Like, I don't know if there's like a mortgage token I can give people, but if you could figure out some sort of collectible to incorporate into your business framework, you will crush it.
Send us $99 now and we will subscribe you in the Win, Make, Give pin collection coming soon.
There you go. And that pin could be worth millions one day.
That's right. They'll be worth millions one day. All right, Bob, you were asking Joe before we tangented here. You were asking him, he was talking servant leadership. You wanted to know what that conversation sounded like when he's meeting somebody around the office.
He was going to answer it. And he said he had a great mentor, and then I derailed us. Sorry, Joe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My mentor said, you cannot fake care. You have to really care. So like you talk about the janitor, you walk by him. It's like, Bob, how you doing? Oh, how's your family? How's your wife? I heard she's really sick. Or, I got some extra tickets to this game, or here's a gift, or, you got to actually care about the people. You can't fake it. Caring is a real thing. There is no acting when it comes to caring. It's an actual thing that you have to feel and do. And it's something that's really profound to me because it's like, I always try to practice that. It's like, I can't fake this. I can't just say, hi, how you doing? I say, hey, how's your wife? Oh, I heard she had a surgery. How's the surgery going? How's the recovery going? Is she okay? Let's pray for her. Let's see, so you actually have to care about people. You actually have to try to figure out what their problem is and what you can do to, people don't want much. They just want you to ask. They want you to take a second out of your day and see how they're doing. Don't be so, self-consumed with your life. Just try to actually give people some time. And some things that he does that I don't do that I still have to do is like when I'm walking down through the hall, not to be on my phone, just to be cautious, saying hello to people, engaged, say hi to them, learn their first name, etc.
I think, you don't realize, I'm somebody that I started at the bottom in our company essentially. And today we've got 1,000 employees. And when I walk down the hall, you don't realize, or I didn't anyway, and sometimes still don't, you don't recognize how much of an impact you have on that person if you just walk straight past them and didn't even say hi, right? Because you're on your phone and you're busy. And they're like, wow, it would have meant something had I stopped and said hi. And I have to remind myself that, Chad, I always bring up Scott, who was that market leader early, and he was just a guy he was that guy, man. And every time I left an interaction with him, and he was like a big executive at our company, Joe, I always felt like, man, I matter around here. And it was nothing more than that guy just stopping and being like, hey, how's it going, man? How's your son doing? Like, so it really doesn't take much effort.
It doesn't.
Okay.
The flip side of that, by the way, real quick, Chad, would be like, have you ever worked for somebody that you knew didn't care? And if you're being led by somebody today in the audience and you know they don't care, I might suggest trying to align yourself with better leadership, because those people exist out there. Joe, you ever had one of those guys in your life that you're like, sure
the world is full of those guys. They shouldn't be leaders. And, God bless them. I hope that at one point they actually learn to be servants. Because leadership is being a bigger servant. The bigger the servant, the better the leader.
Agreed.
That's a quote to put on a wall somewhere so everybody remembers that one. All right, Bob, have you ever seen Glengarry Glen Ross? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I'm pretty sure our buddy here has a podcast with maybe the best line in the movie. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I was segueing to see if you actually knew what ABC stood for. According to Glengarry Glen Ross, always be closing. Yes, I think maybe Joe will shift it a little, give us always be caring after what he just said in there. Yet, yes, one of the best lines from any movie, folks. Coffee is for closers. So, Joe, you've got a podcast, Coffee for Closers.
Coffees with a Z. We did a spin on that, Coffees, because you can't get a web domain with COFFE''S. And I'm a big fan of Phil's Coffee, and Phil's is spelled with a Z. So, and I love that movie, Glengarry Glen Ross. And I'm the ultimate sales guy, and that's my gift. I'm not like an operator. I'm a sales guy. So I interview some of the top founders and CEOs of the biggest organizations and people I aspire to be like, and mentors to me, and some just people that I just want to learn from. People I want to sit down in a room and get to know a little better and know their business and see how we can help each other. So it's been such a blessing to have that show, not from a monetary perspective. Sure, it gives me some additional thought leadership. It gets to I get to show my audience my thought leadership side, but more importantly, like every podcast I do, I get to learn from myself. It's like a 1.5 hour therapy session for me, or a growth session, or mentoring session. And I always say this, is like, if one person benefits from my podcast, then I won. And that person is always me. And whoever thousands of downloads I get later, like, God bless, and that's great. But, I'm always the first one who gets enlightened.
Bob, sounds just like we say that one all the time.
We say it every other episode. We're like, we do these for us. If you guys learned something, awesome. But this is more about Chad and I becoming better humans, because we get to talk to really smart, amazing people. You had Sugar Shane Mosley was my favorite boxer when he was kind of in his prime. I thought he would end up being one of the greatest of all time. You got to interview that guy. He's a
not only did I get to interview Sugar Shane Mosley, like, he's my boy. Like, we hung out for 2 days in a row. I was driving him around. He was just hanging out with me, coming over. Like, and it was weird because it's like, here I am sitting with 7-time world champion Sugar Shane Mosley, a guy that I would have thought I'd never get to meet, a guy that I barely could when I was a kid watching him. I couldn't even afford to get his pay-per-view fights, so I'd have to watch replays. And here I am. He's like sitting next to me in my car, just telling me about his life, like his problems, and I'm giving him advice on how to grow his brand, like. So
you run a podcast where you're talking to serious people about serious things. You're the ultimate sales guy, is what you're telling us. We've got entrepreneurs who are in sales industry. A lot of our listeners are selling something. Let's bring this one to an end. Let's give them some sales tips. What are the top 2 or 3 sales tips you would teach if I threw you on stage in front of a group of salesmen today?
Be genuine, be authentic, provide value, and be a servant. You got to serve first. Do God's work, serve, listen to the consumer, listen to their needs. I sell, but I sell with like charm. Like I sell me. I sell with charisma. I don't sell like whatever product I'm selling. It's like they see who I am. I'm likable. I'm approachable, and I show them like my spirit. Who I am, and so just don't be like a used car salesman. People could smell through that. They could sniff it out. Be authentic, be genuine, and sell to be of servitude, and don't sell for profit. Don't worry about the money. If you're providing value and you're truly doing God's work, I can promise you the money will follow. It always does.
I love that. I mean, those are that's concrete advice for any industry, any product, any widget that we might be schlepping, right?
Even if you're not selling. Right? That should be a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, a lawyer. Imagine if they had that lesson that Joe's sharing right there, how much better every experience would be in our lives.
Exactly.
All right, Joe, how do they get a hold of you if they want to, the book, the podcast, just reach out, connect with you? They really like something you said. What are the ways that are best ways for them to find you?
Just
and more
Joseph Shalaby on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. And if you go to Joseph Shalaby on Instagram, I follow 5 accounts. Follow my 5 accounts, but you can request to follow me personally at the Joe Shalaby. And I personally monitor those accounts. It's a private account, but I'll add you. And then you could like DM me directly. If you DM my large accounts, they don't come through because those big accounts don't get direct messages from strangers.
There you go. Bob, we lost your audio. You're saying something.
So request to follow that personally.
All right. Bob's doing it right now. I can see him doing it. He's clicking on things.
Yeah, Bob, add me, the Joe Shalaby, and we'll connect on IG.
We've lost his audio. So Bob, you can stop talking because you have no idea. We're not able to hear you anymore.
Sorry. Yeah, I connected with you. Hit me up. I'd love to do the baseball card conversation a little bit.
Yeah. Let me know. I don't know if you're going to go to. I didn't go to nationals. I want to take my kids one day to.
So we went this last year. We'll be there again next year for sure. And we might have even made a little investment into the sports card industry here recently. So yeah, we'll be at nationals next year for sure.
Dude, that's sweet. We do one in Anaheim Convention Center. I went to that one.
Yeah, so my boss Ben was down at that one. That was like a month ago or something.
Yeah, about a month and a half ago. I took my kids. That was awesome.
Yeah, the national was really cool, man.
All right, you boys,
we got to connect because we got some really good like the breaker passes and get in.
Oh,
so
dude,
that's all the crazy lines.
Listen, this is what happens when you have young boys.
Oh yes, and
you become a boy.
When you have young boys, you act like young boys.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to let the audience out of this conversation and let you two continue it online after we finish here. Folks, you now know how to find Joseph Shalaby. Follow him, connect with him, check out the podcast, check out the book available on Amazon. Joe, thanks for taking the time to join us today and be able to share with our audience.
God bless, guys. Thank you.
All right, folks, until our next episode, as always, do good.